So good evening, everybody. Welcome to this very major session that we've all been waiting for about from a great leader all the way from Uganda. And Prudence is going to take us through a session on social media, how you can be able to work with social media and basically grow your business. And we are especially privileged and excited to have her here. And as she makes her presentation, in case you have any question, you can always put it on the chat so that at the end of the session, she can be able to answer the questions which are on the chat. So after her session, we'll also have a Q&A section. So that is even why you need to put those questions in there. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Prudence to come and briefly share her story and what this business has meant for her, as well as give us tips on how we can grow our social media. So welcome, Prudence.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Prudence, we seem to have lost you.
You muted.
Oh, sorry.
I think it was
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's fine. That is what do they call it? Network technology. So good evening, everybody. I just want to have some clarification. Are all these distributors on the call?
Yes, they are all distributors.
And what is their level? Distribute and above? Or?
Yes, actually distribute and above. We do have one or two guests because there's no meeting which is complete in your life without a guest. But there are guests who have attended several presentations, so they are actually preparing to join.
Okay, so because my presentation is tailored for distributors and above, they will understand. But if the guests have been attending, good. So good evening, everybody. You're welcome. Thank you, Fred. My name, like it has been introduced, it's on the screen. And I think you're able to see me on the gallery view. I don't know. Okay. On the speaker view. I see Gladys Nduhura, but that's okay.
Yes.
My name is Prudence Nduhura. I'm married with two beautiful girls. And I want to share my Facebook story. Just to let you know, I have 3 stories. I have a business story, I have a Facebook story, and a product story. So today we are going to look at the Facebook story. Maybe you'll ask Fred and invite me and have the other 2 stories separately. But we are going to focus mainly on the social media story. So the Facebook story now. It started when in August 2018, my husband lost his job and I was taking care of my dad at that time. My children were young. The firstborn was already 5, so she was in school. No, she hadn't yet begun school. And we had planned with my husband to take her to an international school by then. It was going to be a home school, but international setting. So I remember when that happened to me, the first thing that came to my mind is the first thing that came to my mind was I didn't want I didn't want us to change her school. I wanted us to go as planned. So I remember telling my husband, yes, you've lost your job, but we are going to find out a way. And looking at my dad's situation, being elderly, I was like, okay, now I need to take over because that is what he wanted. At that time, he wanted Prudence to look after him. So I looked at my business at that time. It was making 500 points with a team. I don't know if there's anyone on the call like me. I was very frustrated. No one could believe in me. Most of my downlines had left the business. So much was happening within our market. And I just didn't know where to start from. I was so fixed up. I felt like getting a job, but I had done this business before and it had worked for me. I had bought land. I had built the house that we're in. I had also bought property for myself. So I asked myself, how can this business help me get out from this financial situation that I'm in, looking at what it was doing now. So I said, the first thing I'm going to do is really increase my customer base. I badly needed customers because I thought if I would get the customers, somehow I would turn them into distributors. So by then, I started working on myself. I started working on my attitude. I read a book called The Difference Maker by John C. Maxwell. I read about personality, sanguine, cholerics, because I had also had a challenge within people who come into the team, how I can handle them, be a people person like John C. Maxwell, and some other books I read. And I also got some mentors on YouTube whom I could reach to. And I started working on myself because that is one thing my upline told me and Rico. They really emphasized that if ever I want to get back to business seriously, I need to work so hard on myself. And thanks to them wherever they are. So I started working on myself. And one thing as I was reading that book that I came across was the way I looked, my image, my branding. Now, at that time, I was overweight. I was weighing 92 kilograms. And I said, okay, fine, I've been selling, I have been recruiting with the kind of structure that I am, but what if I, became healthier and, convinced more people how to live a healthier life? And I said, no, I need to work on myself. One, I wanted even to change my dress code. I wanted to change the way I look, and I wanted to appear more professional towards people. Then secondly, I wanted to believe more in health than anything else. So what I did, Lydia, you're welcome on that call. Can you mute yourself? So one thing that I did was I went back. As I was working on myself, I said I have to prepare myself psychologically on how I'm going to lose the weight. So I started reading a lot about losing weight. And as I started the journey, I noticed some things. Some writers kept saying that you really have to go on this program by using food supplements. Now, thank God I was already in Neo Life. So the best thing I could do was get the Pro Vitality and the Neo Life Shake. So I started using those two products, and then also many things that I read, but one of them was Have Whole Food. Those are the food supplements. Second that I learned was you have to be very patient while you're losing your weight. And thirdly, it was saying things like you have to be hydrated, you have to take in fiber, you have to change your diet, your lunch, breakfast. There are dynamics that was involved. So I took through that journey. I was ready for a journey of transformation because I was tired of where I was. There was no income at home. And the point when my husband lost the job, he had severe debts. And I had to step in to pay those debts. Otherwise, we are going to come and take all the property that I had really acquired myself. Then I just couldn't see my dad, go away just because I could not take care of him. So I had to do something for myself. So I went on the diet. I had a goal, and one of the goals was to look good. Second, I wanted to avoid lifestyle diseases. You know, once you don't look after yourself healthy, to be healthy, you definitely have to fall into the lifestyle diseases. Then I also looked at my children. They were very young. One was 4, one was 3. And I was like, these children, if I don't take care of my health, whom am I going to leave them with? So I went on the weight loss journey, and within 6 months, I was able to lose 22 kilograms. Now, my upline visited and told me, Prudence, you have lost weight and you really look good. Then I remember what she told me. She told me that you need to put your story together and market it. I said, really? I was like, yes. So I was looking for something that can jumpstart me and create the momentum for my business to grow, because like I shared before with Fred, I had no upline. I was like, what can I do? So anyway, I put my story together, and people who had seen me were like, really? This has happened to Prudence? But just before that, meeting people was hard for me at that time, because I had been away from people for a long time. So I kept telling myself, all my friends and relatives are on social media every day. The moment you post a birthday, the moment you post an anniversary, you get 100 messages. So I said, why can't I share my story on Facebook? So I started. I had to look for the app that, shows before and after. I got the pictures and then started putting them together. And I remember the first day I posted, I got over 100 messages congratulating me. I got so many phone calls. I got so many inquiries, but 90% when I remember, most of them did not believe. Actually, most of them came to see me physically, and they were like, you mean you have actually lost weight? And they thought, I got several calls that were telling me I have done a Photoshop. So I said, now, if I could tap this market, then I think let me grow from the social media. So I started with WhatsApp. I was always in all my friends and relatives' WhatsApp messages. I kept sending messages. I kept updating my status every single day. And I kept posting 2 to 3 flyers on Facebook every single day. And remember, my goal was just to stabilize the income at home. And I wanted to grow from 500 points with the team to 4,000 points. That was my aim. I just needed to qualify as a director. And it started growing. People started coming in. I remember the business that month went to 1,000 PV, group PV with a team. I sponsored about 1 person. Then the next month I continued, I intensified, the activity grew so high, because that is a time when now the second month my husband was not working and he was just seated at home finding what to do. So I had to really increase on my activity. I had to be proactive. So I had to meet people. Now, most of my OGs communicated to me, my relatives did communicate to me, and all the people that knew me on social media communicated. Then also one thing I did on social media at that time was get more friends. I just went randomly and requested, I think, 1,000 people to become my friends. I was hungry. I was really hungry for success. And to tell you the truth, I only wanted 4,000 points just on my printout. That is all I was looking for. So I grew to 2,000 in the second month. I grew to 3,000. I started sponsoring. I really sponsored on Facebook. So it grew and grew and grew. Now, the day I remember even when I clocked 4,000, I became a bit reluctant, and I shared even with Lydia. Lydia started qualifying, but it was through that excitement and sharing my personal story. So when people came to me, what I did, like I had told you, I got many customers and started turning these customers into distributors and helping them. And my goal was to get as many customers as I could, both users and business builders. But by that time, I was focused more on product users, both as distributors and as customers who would buy the products there and then. So when the income started coming in, at least I was able to pay our electricity bill at home. I was able to pay water. I was able to buy food. I was able to buy food home. I was able to buy food at my dad's house. And at least I was able to start seeing some significant income growing. So I really, really thanked God. Now I'm going to share some of the things that I did and some of the things that you need to do, the pros and cons on sharing or using Facebook or using social media as a tool to grow your business. So after sharing this, then I will give you a little bit of advice, and then we go to questions and answers. Maybe within your questions and answers, I could share more. Now, things that I did, like I told you, you have to have either a business story or a product story. Now, it doesn't matter. Me personally, it was weight loss. Now, I also have a story about Super 10 and G1 Laundry. I shared about Super 10 and G1 Laundry, what it had done in my house in the estate that I was living in. The estate has over 50 houses, and we have a WhatsApp group. We used to meet in homes. So when I was given a chance to speak, I spoke about the company I represent with a passion. Remember, I had a goal. And I knew all these were homes. So at that point, I had my product story of weight loss, but I knew I couldn't target all the homes with weight loss. So I shared my story of Super 10 and G1 Laundry. As I speak now, the estate, at least half of the estate buys Super 10, LDC, and G1 Laundry. Yeah, either in samples or in wholesome, but they use the products. So what am I trying to say? That you may not have to follow the weight loss story. Find a product story or find your business story and then put it together. It doesn't matter. What matters is that passion that you have and that dream that you have. My dream is, at that time when I started, my dream and my drive was to change one family one day at a time. I just knew that there is just one family that needed my help. And if you were keen on following me on Facebook, at one point I would put on the flyer, please tell a relative, if you don't need this weight loss program, tell a relative who needs it to contact me. So I was out there targeting a family. So I wanted to change one family at a time. So after that, you come in here. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that. So I wanted to change one family one day at a time. And that was my dream. That was my goal. And what I'm trying to say is that make sure you have a product story or you have a business story. It doesn't matter what story that you have, but put it together such that you're able to share it to the world. Then secondly, be very consistent. Now, I realized the time I was sharing my story, some people who came to buy or some people who came to join my business wanted to see whether I would be consistent. And the majority came to me after seeing the consistency. So you're not going to share this week, and then relax the next week. You really have to be consistent. Then be hungry for success. Personally, I was hungry. Home, we would be living a mediocre life. And I remember that's one thing that I was told by my mentor, that if you don't go out and do something outside the box, you're going to live a mediocre life. So what kind of life do you want? So if you want to step in and, boosting that income within your home, it's really up to you. So be hungry for success. I was hungry for success. I wouldn't let the stumbling blocks break our dreams. I couldn't just imagine my children in the national curriculum. I wanted them in the international curriculum, however hard it was at that time. Remember, I was not qualified, but I still had the dream that my children are going to start in an international school. So I was so hungry for success that I didn't mind whether you saw my flyer 10 times. I would still post it for you to see. Maybe it would pull you to tell your relative about it. So be hungry for success. Then have a need, have a story, then find out what works for you, then advertise. Then as you do that, you're going to create what they call a brand. So share your brand. Now, my brand personally is weight loss, my weight loss coach, or a transformational coach, or weight management coach or consultant. So that is my brand. So everywhere I go, they say, is this the lady that, teaches about weight loss? And right now, even I've come here for Facebook, but I know those that know me as someone who teaches more about weight loss. So share your brand. Now, when you share, people you don't know, because social media has people you don't know. Now, to get connected to people you don't know, it's through your story, because your story is powerful. It doesn't matter whether it's a business story or it's a product story. So make sure you share your brand and you're able to share that story with them. Then be patient. Just be very patient with your business. I honestly advertised the first 3 months and the results were not that good, but I had hope that things would become better. Why? The phone calls were too many, the messages were too many that were coming in, and also people coming into my office to see me were also many. So just because I had those questions coming in over and over again and inquiries, I had hope that the business would grow. So be very patient. Then be persistent, then focus. What do I mean by focus? Now, for example, if I am going to share about weight loss, I can't start sharing about CoQ10, then I go to botanical, then I go to what other products are there? Then I go to soft. I have to have a focus in my life. First of all, when you create your brand, definitely you're going to have the focus. So focus, and then have a target every month. That's also helped me now. Every month, I would always write down my target. I would say this month, I want to sponsor 3 people and I want to make 2,000 with my team. And then the people that join, I'd want them to qualify as a manager or do their 100 points. So I always wrote down my target and I worked towards it. Whether I hit it or didn't hit it, but I always had a target every month. And I remember when the 4,000 was coming in, I knew that it was going to come. The only PV that came in that I was not sure was when I was stepping up to World Team. That's when actually I started shocking myself because of the consistency that was coming in. Then boost your adverts. I boosted my adverts. At the beginning, when I was making 500 points with the team, I didn't have much money. So the first checks that I got, I invested them back and made sure that I put in those dollars to boost my adverts, because I knew I had a very powerful story that so many people would align with. And I was very passionate at changing families. So I risked because I knew I was going to get results. Then Facebook was very happy with me because of the consistency. They started even sending emails to me and teaching me how to better my pictures and adverts. And I went on training, I went on YouTube and started reading about social media. So those are some of the things that I did. Then also things that you shouldn't do. Now I've shared things that you should do. Now things that you shouldn't do is don't spend a day without advertising, especially if you want to grow and you have a big dream and you've written it down, your goals, and you have written all this down and you really have a target. And you're saying now by December, this is what I want. So don't spend a day without advertising, because social media will only give you results when you are very consistent. Then don't give too much info. Give enough information whereby somebody will contact you. Yeah, there is one I just said, come for advice, weight loss management coach. And I got so many phone calls, so many of them. So don't give too much info. I just said, come for advice. So don't give too much info. You'll give the info when you're meeting the person one-on-one. Then if you're posting about a product like Super 10, people don't know the bottle, but it would be good if you post about Super 10 and what Super 10 does. At least list some of the things that Super 10 does, and you can even put a picture before and after of a cooker or a fridge or a wall or a tile. That also helps you grow. And when you boost such an advert, especially of the cleaning products, you get so many inquiries, and that can also boost your business. Then what I was trying to say is explain about the product. Don't just post a bare product. Once you get these flyers from our officials like Paul Mwatu, get the flyer and explain more about it, then put your contacts and your website, and then post it out there on social media and send it on every platform. Personally, I used to send it on every platform because I had a target that day. I have a target for the day, I have a target for the week, and I have a target for the month. So I really needed to meet those targets, and I was accountable to myself. So at the end of the day, I would evaluate. I'm like, have I hit my target? Have I surpassed it? And then at the end of the week, I'm like, have I hit my target? At the end of the month, is this what I've worked for? So those are kind of questions that I asked myself, and that kept me going and going. Then, when these people call you, if you're able, now if there is the lockdown in Nairobi, then make an appointment with them, because one-on-ones are very powerful. And some like it Zoom, some like it WhatsApp, but from my experience, meeting them has really made me sign up so many people. I reached the extent of going to the homes. There is an executive manager of mine. She's very busy at work. She's an HRer. So all she does is just makes appointment in several homes. So if it's about home care products, I go there and do the demonstrations. I give them time. If it's a hotel, I go and give the demonstrations there. And you create time, and I have one-on-ones. I'll go with my mask, I'll sanitize and make sure I am available and talking to these people. There's a lady who wanted me to demonstrate to her maid at home. And I had to go drive there and, spend time with her maid. And after doing that, she paid for all the products. Now, 1 week later, the maid called me back and she was like, thank you for the products. They are easing my work in the house. So you really have to have those one-on-ones. So much as we are doing the social media activity, please try as much as you can to make appointments, because I have gotten so much success out of that. Then be simple and duplicatable. Make sure what you're doing is simple and duplicatable, because it was easier to teach my 2 directors how to do this business, and one now is better than me in social media advertising. Every month he sponsors from Ghana, USA, UK, all over the world, every single month, and he is so good at advertising, more than I do. So because it was duplicatable, I was able to grow very fast. So be very simple and duplicatable. Then also something else is that you have to keep like, you can have a story, the same story, but you can change the way it looks within the flyers. So don't keep at one flyer. It can be the same story, but just change the outlook of it out there. Yeah, so that ends my presentation. The advice that I can leave with you is always stay interested in the solution of the prospect, not the PVs or sales. That is something to note. Always stay interested in the solution of the prospect and not the PVs and sales. That will keep your business growing. And the second one is the most powerful one. You have to really work on yourself. Work on your attitude, work on your work ethics, work on your etiquettes, work on so many things about yourself, because all the answers come from you and all the solutions come from you. So it's you going to, give the solution out there. So go out and work so hard on yourself. Then lastly is position yourself for success. I positioned myself for success, and I was able to attract as many people as I could within my environment. And that is why they are able to ask me so many things. I would leave you with 2 testimonies. I have very, very many testimonies on social media, but I'll just leave you with 2. There's a lady called Sarah. She found my number on social media. And this time when she called, she said, Prudence, I have seen your testimony about weight loss, but I want to gain weight. I said, oh, okay, so you can gain the weight. We also have those products. And I explained to her about what NutriShake does, but I didn't give her much information. Then she had doubt because, she had never met me. She thought I was somebody maybe going to steal her money, or I was not real. And she kept putting in those doubts within our conversation. So this is the advice I gave her. I knew I had consistently built my name on social media advertising. So I told her, Sarah, I want you to go and type Prudence Nduhura on Facebook and, search about me. Then I also gave her a second option, go to Google and type Prudence Nduhura. So go and do a research about me, which she did. And before I knew it, then on Monday morning, she was at my office and she told me how much are the products. I told her the price, she paid cash, and she went very happily. But just before she left, that's how she confessed that she actually went and did a thorough research about me. So when I mentioned for you to create your brand, be consistent, working on yourself, all those are packaged in how you present yourself out there. So Sarah was able to become a daily customer. Then another testimony that I have, this was a gentleman. I had studied with him in primary, and we used to fight for the first and second position of math. If I was the best in math, this test, then the next test, he made sure he was the best. So we became friends and we knew each other because of that kind of competition. So someone went and introduced Neolife business to him. And he got interested. He's an engineer in National Water and Sewage Corporation. He's doing some big job. So they told him about the products, they told him about the business, and they told him to join. And do you know what clicked in his mind? He said, oh, okay. So he thanked the person. And the first thing that came in his mind when he was told about Neolife was Prudence Nduhura. I said, I know Prudence better. I used to study with her and she has been consistent on Facebook. So he called me and asked me where I was. I was attending a board meeting of some circle that I serve with. And he came and he told me, Prudence, you know what? I've been told about this business. I need the products and I need to join. Now, because I position myself every second, in my boot, there is Super 10, LDC, spray bottle. There is the mixing bottle. There is my Neolife shake, Neolife tea. There is a kit and a Pro-Vitality in the kit. And I have forms and I have a magazine. So he told me he wanted to join and pay immediately. So I switched him straight away to the Pro-Vitality kit and he paid and he left when he was happy. Now he joined me because of the advertising on social media. So if this can happen for me, this can happen for you. Now, as I speak now, I've taken my last step to One Ruby Director. So thank you so much. Back to Fred.
Wow, Prudence, that's exciting. So, you know, for many of the new people who are on the call, they don't know what One Ruby Director is. One Ruby Director is somebody who is doing over 20,000 points. And under the One Ruby Director, you have 3 director legs. So that means that the people she got, she's been able to develop more than 3 to become consistent directors. I don't know that she has a world team. Do you have a world team under you?
Someone taking a step.
There's somebody taking a step to world team.
To world team, yes.
Fantastic. So now